All right, welcome everyone back. It's over. 2025 season is over. Besides All-Star Week next week, which will be fun, so stick around for that. But yeah, finals has wrapped up. We're going to talk about our winner, the new champions of the Legacy Leagues here in Massachusetts. Exciting game, big comeback game, a lot to talk about. Talk about what went right, what went wrong, the players that stood out to us, and yeah, we'll look ahead at All-Star Week later. But we'll get right into it, right into the game. Let me do the transition real quick. All right, so our winners for the 2025 Summer Massachusetts Legacy Leagues is our very own Run It Up. Clap. Everyone clap. Yes. Congrats, Run It Up. They took this one 60-54, but they were down. They were down, I think, almost 15 at half, going into the fourth, actually. So it wasn't an easy game, um, but they definitely turned it up in the fourth quarter, and it's become full circle. Last season, Run Up looked a bit different roster-wise, but they were up against good teams going into the fourth quarter a lot, and they just fell apart every single fourth quarter. Every single post-game week or show every week just felt like we were talking about how they don't know how to close out games in the fourth quarters where they struggle, but it became a nice little full circle happy ending for them where they actually came back and closed out in the fourth quarter and won a championship. So I think that's wicked cool. Tack Gomes, finals MVP, 24 points. He had 6 rebounds as well, 3 steals. That's always huge. Um, yeah, big game from him. He was followed up with 16 from Sean Yard. I know like 6 of those came off the free throws at the end, but still, he was impactful on defense and vocally, he was loud and leading the way. George Skelton, Davis, you were vocal about him after the game, so I was going to talk about him, but I want you to talk about him. How important was he this game?
Oh yeah, he was huge. He was giving me like Drew Holiday vibes, on like the Celtics championship team from a couple years ago. Just like, he put his heart out there on the defensive end, just so much effort, very vocal, and just had the team all hyped up. Yeah, I said to myself, like, if I was the one choosing, like, who would be the Finals MVP, I think I would have just given it to George Skelton. I think he was huge, and just might be the biggest reason why they were able to come back in this game. Yeah, I love this play out there.
No, yeah, he had insane hustle all game. There's sometimes where like Yala would be going up for a rebound and somehow Skelton would end up with it because he just would poke it out, know exactly where it's bouncing off the rim, go grab it, put it right back. Sometimes get fouled. He had a lot of and ones. Um, no, yeah, 8 rebounds from him leading the way. We're used to seeing either Tack or Marcus leading the way. Marcus had a bit of a quiet game, but he shot 3 for 4, so it's not like he was not out there hustling and doing stuff. He had 9 points, 5 rebounds. He picked up a steal. Everyone from their main four stole the ball tonight. 3 from Tack, Sean, and George, and then 1 from Marcus. So I think the turnovers in especially the fourth quarter is what was the difference this game, and uh, just transferring your defense onto offense and having those fast breaks. I think that's what the Reapers were missing later on in the game. They came out hot, they came out ready, but they just crumbled in that fourth quarter. Yala, 14 points. Isaac, 14 points. Kevin, 11 points. A lot better than he has been playing in the last few weeks, but still was not good enough to put them past Run It Up. Carlos, he had seven points, but he only had 1 steal. We're used to seeing him get like 5 minimum. So a bit of a quiet game around from him. Um, but DJ, I'll go to you. Reapers came out really strong. Did you think when this game started, like at half, you were like, yeah, Reapers got this, or did you think Run It Up could come back? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I thought going into the fourth quarter that this was the Reapers game. I thought it was wrapped up, but generational sell job by the Reapers. Giving up 27 fourth quarter points is absolutely unacceptable if you're trying to win. Their third straight finals loss. Um, Yeah, not good. I really thought something was going to cook up at the end. Kevin Views kind of got his takeover at the end there, throwing up some crazy threes, getting some nice little fast breaks, cutting the lead down. But they gave up that lead, and once they did, they just never had a chance of getting it back.
No, yeah, it was demoralizing to watch that lead just diminish and then just go to the opposite end of run ups total. So, but I think so. Last week I was saying, and I've actually been saying this the last couple weeks, but I think when you have a core four that goes out there and plays the majority of your game, and you don't really have too many guys on the bench switching out that four, I think that's a better just mix for this league. We've seen it in the past couple of seasons where teams are stacked, like ASAP and like last year's FTG, where it's just stacked with all stars and MVPs and dunk contest winners, 3-point winners, but it just never turns out for them, and it's these gritty teams like Run Up that only have two all stars, and two other guys that are there to support them. And then you got a bench that knows basketball, but also knows when it's not their time to shine. And they let Tack and Sean Yard do that in this playoffs. The regular season's fun. You get your team going. Build chemistry, but you got to know when it's time to lock in and sacrifice your minutes. And I just don't know what the Reapers were doing really. They had guys out there in just lineups that I hadn't seen earlier in the playoffs from them, especially in the game we played with them. I feel like they had Isaac out there the entire game against A1. And then he sat so many times in this game, and so did Yala. And I remember Yala shouting out at his team, like, what are we doing? What is this lineup? And put that on Kevin maybe as their leader to be subbing out the right guys at the right time. I just think there was times where it was just, what are you doing? I think Isaac needs to play every single second of this game. I think Yala does too. Kevin, I need to see you out there. Carlos, if you want breaks, Kevin and Carlos can swap out with Jamal, Adrian, and Quentin. But I really think Isaac and Yala needed to be out there the entire time, and I think they could have contained this lead. When you're up 20, don't or 15, whatever they were up, don't be satisfied. The job's not finished. Just keep going. I don't really think they needed to make the adjustments when they did. Um, and I think Run It Up just stuck to their core, four guys that were used to seeing like the big three, but I think Skeletons kind of made it into a big four. This big four, you scored all the points. They're the reason they won the game, the defense, everything. And I think Reapers just relied on everyone too much, where they just needed to rely on maybe Isaac. Everyone knows he's one of the best players in the league. Yala, everyone knows he's an all-star. So I think they need to rely on those bigger guys. Davis, talk about, you know, you know, what are your thoughts on sticking with a core four for the majority of your game, or trying to get like everyone some rest? What do you think about that? What do you think works?
Um, I think in more important games like the finals, I think core four should be the priority. But like if you're like I'd say building a team, you definitely want at least one quality bench guy that you can rely on to sub out, from time to time. Maybe two if you're lucky, but I think I do like what you said though about the core four. That's at the end of the day, the starters are a good a major reason why they you win the championship, and I think you kind of just have to rely on your stars closing it out. Obviously, they get tired, sub if you absolutely need to, but I don't think the stars. Plus, this in our league, the clock's running. They're 10-minute quarters. The game's not too long to where like the stars aren't going to get too tired. So I think in this league, especially, a core four should be more prioritized.
Yeah, yeah, I just really think it was down to the subs, and I think if they stuck to their main guys, the Reapers, then they would have kept the lead and keep the ball in Isaac's hand. Look for Yala in key matchups, but maybe get Kevin shooting, Carlos shooting, but I just don't know what they were doing. I really think they screwed themselves with their lineups, especially in the second half. There was just times when I was like, why are all those guys out there, and why is Yala and Isaac on the bench at the same time? That should never happen, let alone one of them sitting. both of them should never be on the bench at the same time, and I'm pretty sure I saw that in the third quarter when that lead started to slip, uh, or at least the momentum started to shift. Um, yeah, Kevin, I know you may be listening. Maybe you don't want to hear us talk trash about this game, but you could have had your championship, I think, if you stuck with your core. And I think going into next season, if we see the Reapers come back for a fourth finals, please, please do not make those subs that you're not gonna, get the most out of. Get the most out of Isaac and Yala. Maybe they're tired, but just get everything out of them. These games go by fast with the running clock, as Davis said, and I just think that's what killed you. But Tack Gomes, Sean Yard, slow start, but they were able to get into the momentum of the game. In that fourth quarter, it just looked like a different team out there. Tack, we've been saying, knows how to close out games and lock in when he has to, and he really did. DJ, talk about Tack Gomes. He was our MVP. Let's talk about him a little bit. Defensively, vocally, leadership. What did he bring to the table?
Yeah, he brought everything you just said there. Vocally, he was there all night. Defensively, just locking down guys, and just like the last couple games, he was not as prominent in the beginning of them, but when he needed to pick it up in the fourth quarter, he was there, and that's really what you get. That's how you get your Finals MVP. Is you show up when you need to show up, and that's what he did. That's exactly what he did, and that's how Run It Up really just had that fourth quarter comeback.
The 110 Grill Finals MVP. I think I forgot to shout him out earlier. So, yeah, I don't know how I do that on the last one. I was too emotional about it being the last one. Jeez, 110. They've been with us the whole way. They got everyone gift cards for the finals, which was really cool. Really wish I won it now. If I knew I would have tried a little harder if I got a 110 Grill gift card. But anyways, yeah, Kevin, Yala, Isaac combined 13 turnovers. I said we were just, crapping on them for not saying in the game, but most of those turnovers came from the fourth quarter, and that was just, I think, just like mentally, you just see your team crumbling, and you're just like, geez, get the ball out, boom, turnover. Tack and Sean are always going to look for those inbounds where people aren't paying attention, and I think that happened 2 or 3 times in the last 2 minutes. And the last 2 minutes of the fourth, I don't think up until then the Reapers scored. And that is not to them not making shots, but I think it's Run It Up's defense and just how locked in they were. Their team was excited. Their team was screaming after every bucket, dunk. Marcus had some crazy, crazy alley-oops that just got the team going. And I think even if it's just 2 points, it means a lot more than that because the team's momentum shifted after that. And the Reapers just were quiet down the stretch. You see your lead falling. Maybe you're getting scared that, we're choking this, but you got to stay in it, snap out of it, get your team going, yell at them, stop yelling at the refs. We're in the finals. We've all dealt with, questionable calls all season. Just stop it, just lock in. But I think they got in their own heads in that fourth quarter, and the run up didn't, and they came out on top. I've given them some tough love all season, especially Sean Yard, but he came out, he got that championship. Not much else to say. He got the championship, and I'm happy to see Casey Key get a championship too. Shout out Casey Key, the captain of Run It Up. He was on the bottom team last summer, uh, below my team, the Party Crashers, which is crazy because that was our first win was against Casey Key, and then the second season he was with Run It Up with Sean Yard. I don't know if they had a positive win loss season. It was a bit up and down for them. Like I said, the fourth quarter always seemed to be their issue. And then this season they were, 3 seed, and they actually locked in and they got Tack, Skelton, Marcus, some key features. So watching KC kind of grow these last couple seasons from being an all-star both seasons to kind of taking a step back as each season went, showing what a leader has to do to get a championship. And he's used to averaging, 15 to 20 points every game, almost 10 rebounds every game, to taking a step back, not scoring in the finals to win a championship is really cool, and I'm just happy for him. he got his guys going. And this wasn't a team I would say really anyone was picking throughout the season to win the championship. It was just A1 or ASAP. And injuries, injuries happen for both teams, but still, run it up, nitty gritty. They still beat an ASAP that people thought was going to beat them, and they beat a Reapers that even some people thought was going to beat them. So, and the Reapers showed up full force. We kept saying full force Reapers looks like a different team, but they definitely did in the first half of this game, the first 3 quarters, and then they just fell apart. Man, that sucks. 3 finals losses in a row for the Reapers. I hope we see them back. I think if this same exact team comes back, they definitely have a chance. I'm not going to count them out. I just think they need to lock in on that roster kind of substitutions and just not lose yourself when it means the most in the finals. Um, yeah, I mean, if we see this game happen, 3 or 4 more times, it honestly could be 2 to the Reapers, 2 to the run up. But this was the one and done game they had, so it's not a full series here in legacy leagues, but one and done here. Run up took it, they ran it up, as Rolly Pierre says in the post game interview. His post game interviews are the greatest things. That's what I'm gonna miss most from this season are those interviews, and they were amazing. Uh, yeah, uh, I think we'll move on to our All-Star talk. I think that wraps up the finals. Not too much left to be said there. So we'll move on to our 110 Grills All-Star game. Um, 110 Grill, they bring the food, they bring the drinks. You get everything you want at 110 Grill, but most importantly, you get the memories. So I wanted to quickly, before we went on, Davis, DJ, talk about some of your favorite things that happened this season that just, you're going to remember for a little. Davis, what's your favorite memory so far this season? Whether that's something in a game or just all around.
Let me think. I mean, I just think all the cool dunks. Honestly, there was one game I remember. I think it was like FTG versus the Squad. There was just like so many dunks in that first half. It was like I was watching from the scores table. I think I was doing stats. And that was pretty memorable to me because I just remember there's so many dunks in a row. And I just think about how cool this league is.
No, yeah, Ethan's dunk when he like kind of faked turn and then went
Yeah,
around
I
one of
think
the
it might have
squad
been that
guys.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my
versus
god.
the squad. That was a crazy dunk. DJ, what are you thinking of the season?
Um, I think my 110 grill moment of the year was I think it was week 1. It was A1 against Run It Up, and
No,
the
no,
last like
FTG,
buzzer beater.
FTG.
Was it
Oh
FTG?
no, that
Or
was week
the
two. Yeah, no,
week
that was
2,
week two.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, week two.
Yeah, that Hendel buzzer beater over tack where he held the ball for like 40 seconds. I think they were down like 2, maybe 1, something like that. And he just held it for like 40 seconds and then just popped a 3 over him. That was pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
was
that was a
definitely
good
one
one.
of my favorite ones.
I was the one who
Uh,
got the HT bid on that. I
Yeah,
forgot about
no,
that.
that was a great one. Definitely one of the best moments from a game. I honestly love my back-to-back threes in that buzzer beater. I can't forget that. That was awesome how my team reacted. So that's definitely my favorite moment. Yeah, Cheerios guy, thank you, DJ, my nickname. But yeah, a lot of good memorable moments. But let's start talking about the All-Star game. All-Star week next week. It's gonna be really fun. You know, uh, teams are really good. Last season I stacked my team against Ethan's because I just had a greater knowledge of the players, so we can't hold that against him. But I definitely think I won that, and I won the game. So but new season, new teams, new captains, new all stars, new everything. Uh, we'll go into the All Star game last. Let's talk about the 3-point shootout. So if everyone shows up that is on this list, we're gonna see Sean Yard, defending champion. Noah James from ASAP, Darwin Perea from A1, my guy, Jared Hansen, also my guy from Top Dogs this season. Then we got Hendel, A1, of course, my guy. Karan Bostic, I gotta stop saying. I think all these guys are my guys. I gotta stop saying that. From ASAP, Shane Perico from FTG, and Tech Gomes from Run It Up. So we see two champions coming back. Can they either of them win it? defending champion from Sean Yard. Can he get two championships back to back, 3-point champ and the regular season champ? Yeah, this is actually insanely hard to pick a winner. Obviously, you gotta show respect to Sean being the defending champ, but you got guys like Noah, Darwin, Tack, Jared. Jared's a multiple time champion, so I, I don't even know who I'm picking. I'm gonna hear what you guys say first and piggyback back off that. So, Davis, give me a winner. It doesn't even have to be justified, because honestly, you could justify any of these guys winning it. But give me a little winner. Maybe talk about why. But yeah, who do you think? Just so we have it set in stone, so you can say you're right if they do win.
I'm gonna pick Noah James. I think just because of like that volume of threes he shot and like the high percentage, also his MVP. I feel like it's a pretty safe pick, so I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, champion in Rhode Island last night. If you didn't know, he just won in Rhode Island with the Skyhawks against um, the Road Dogs in Rhode Island. So he didn't win it here in Massachusetts, but he won the championship over in Rhode Island. So that's cool, and he'll be coming into this All-Star week feeling great. You got a championship, so he's a champion too. So maybe he wants to win another championship like Sean. But excuse me, DJ, who you got in this?
I'm taking Hendel. I've seen him hit every kind of three you could make in a game, and during warm-ups, just watching him, he's like automatic. So I think he's gonna win it.
We're used to seeing him take it like defended or off the dribble shots, but I feel like every time he's just pass and shoot or catch and shoot, it's green. So it's a little different from catching it at your shooting kind of position than taking it off the rack and going into it. But he's definitely a good pick. Everyone's a good pick. I'm picking my boy Darwin. I saw him shoot almost 60% from three last season. This season was a bit of a dip, but we didn't have Dante out there to just make everything easier for us. So it was definitely a tougher season. So we didn't see that master class of shooting that we always see from him. But I'm giving this one to Darwin. He almost had it last season. Um, yeah, my pick's Darwin. I think he's one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter in the league. Yeah, but still, Jared, he's won multiple times. You can't count him out. Noah, we know what Noah is. Uh, Hendel, like DJ said, but Shane, he's also a streaky shooter. So if he hits three in a row, that's gonna turn into six real quick. Karan, he might have to take like 4 to 5 steps back at each rack, because every single 3-point he takes is so deep. So maybe that's the key to him winning. Uh, and then Tack, just all around a great player, and he could just sneakily hit 5 in a row. And then of course Sean, he showed us that he can win it last season against guys like Darwin, and my boy Nick Bogelman, he beat him out too. This is the first time we're not seeing him in this 3-point, so it's a bit sad, bittersweet. I would be picking him if he was in this. I picked him in the last 2 seasons, but yeah, I'm sticking my boy Darwin though. Um, then we'll go on to another really this All-Star week is actually so tough to call. I think talent-wise, this might be the best one in Massachusetts so far. Best season actually. Definitely a much better, bigger season talent-wise. But this dunk contest is actually also insane. We got Tack Gomes running up, Terrence Gallo, FTG, Zach Pinicky. I gotta figure. That's the last week. It's too late to figure out how to pronounce his last name. I'm sorry. I'm gonna ask him. Ask him next week. From FTG, Denzel from FTG. A lot of dunkers on FTG. Ethan from FTG. They have 4 guys, and it's crazy. Joe Secador, ASAP, Isaac Lane from Reapers. So insanely hard to pick here. Um, but as a good host, I'm gonna go last. Let you guys go first so I can pick off that. Davis, actually DJ, Davis went first for 3 points. So you go. Who you got winning this dunk contest? And again, it's not really justifiable. I think everyone's has a case. So let me hear it.
You know what? Give me Tack Gomes. He's coming off that Finals MVP. He's gonna be feeling good. I can see him throwing it down this week. So, yeah, I'll pick him.
Yeah, with any bit of energy going into the dunk contest is good. So you don't want to go out there sleeping and coming off a Finals MVP, Finals championship win. He's definitely going to be hyped. It'd be cool to see him out there. If Tack's listening, his daughter's always there. Bring her into the dunk contest or something. She's always out there shooting at like in between quarters. So get her involved. Have her throw him like an oop or something. That'd be really funny. I want to see that. No, not enough people bring in like other people or props, and I really want to see that. Last season, someone had like a Superman cape, and that was really cool. Or maybe it was a jersey. It might have been like a Jordan jersey, but I want to see someone with a Superman cape. That would be sick. Ethan, I know Ethan would do that. Ethan, go get a Superman cape, dunk with it. I'll give you an automatic at least 8. If it's a regular dunk, it'll be at least an 8. I think I'm gonna be one of the judges, so I can say that. Um, Davis, who you got winning this?
I think I'm gonna go with Isaac Lane, and I don't have a certain reason why. I just feel like could be a good sneaky pick, and yeah, might fly under the radar.
Yeah, Isaac might win one of these on a 10-foot, so that's definitely an easy pick there. Joe Secator is a previous winner, or maybe not. Maybe he got snubbed. I think I remember him saying that. Ethan, previous winner. Terrence, previous maybe 8-time winner. Maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but he is crazy. Like that, he cannot be, left out of this conversation. Uh, but Zach, honestly, the way he's been dunking in game this season, I can only imagine what he can do with an open lane and no one defending him. So that might be my pick, Zach. But I can't go against my boy Terrence. He was won so many of these. It would be like picking, against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Is like picking against Terrence in the dunk contest, I feel. But Denzel also is sneaky here. Those FTG guys know how to dunk. So my pick's between Zach or Terrence. I'm gonna lean Terrence because I always pick Terrence, but Zach is definitely a close second. Um, but Joe Secator, he threw down a crazy dunk, and I'll never forget those dunks in Rhode Island. So don't sleep on him either. Um, Ethan, he won it couple seasons ago, but last season was rough. So we need to see a comeback from you, Ethan. I know Ethan's not gonna take that as trash talk. We love Ethan here, but I want to see some crazy props or something. Somebody bring out props. We need to get this dunk contest energetic. Make it better than the NBA one. NBA one has just been on a decline, and I need to see some energy from you guys. I need some crazy dunks, props, music, just get everything going. All right. So those are our picks. It's gonna be a crazy one. I think that's such a fair, fun dunk contest. But we'll go into our all-star game, where the teams are also very fair. We got Team Hendel. Captain is Hendel Laurel. So Hendel from A1, Musa from the squad, Tack from Run It Up, Geo, Neville from B2A, Darwin A1. And then you got Yala and Kevin from the Reapers, and then Sean Yard from Run It Up. A lot of Run It Up on this team. Actually, both of the Run It Up guys that were in the All-Star game are here. So you got two guys coming off a championship. You got Darwin with championship experience. Um, a lot of winners on this team. But Team Noah, we can't sleep against because also a very good team. You got Noah James, Ethan Austin, Jared Hanson, Isaac Lane, Denzel Lyles, Joe Secator, Marquise Smith from the squad, Amondi Weaver from B2A. I didn't show everyone's teams out, but we know it by now. Yeah, Noah coming off a championship. Ethan's won these All-Star MVPs before. Isaac coming off a championship loss. Maybe he's hungry to win one of these. So maybe he's gonna want to win that for them. A lot of these guys are also winners. So it's definitely a tough one. I think I'm leaning one way, but I want to hear it from you, Davis. What team you got winning this?
I feel like on paper, I'm thinking like Hendel, but I actually might lean towards Team Noah. I feel like I don't know. Something's telling me that they can pull off the win here. I like their size. I like Isaac Lane, Denzel Lyle, Marquis Smith, and Monty Weaver. They have a lot of like big solid guys. I think they could be an X factor.
No, yeah, size definitely brings something to these All-Star games, but I do think guys who are just out there to just run is also a good key factor, and I think Hendel's got some guys who are ready to run. In himself, Darwin, Sean, Musa, Tack. Uh, I know Tack's actually been dealing with an ankle injury, so maybe he's not going to be full out sprinting out there. But DJ, let me hear it. We got one for Noah, so who you got?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna take Hendel. Um, yeah, it's an all-star game. It's really just a toss-up. They're both stacked teams, but I personally think, like you guys said before, I think it's gonna come down to size at the end. It's gonna be a lot of dunks, not a lot of like crazy like. Well, I'm not gonna say that. Just like it's gonna be a lot of driving, a lot of
Yeah.
explosiveness. So yeah, I'll take Hendel's team.
Yeah, I gotta stick with my boy Hendel, A1. You know, we got Tack too. That's Tack's boys with all the A1 guys. So Darwin, Tack, Hendel, that's a crazy trio. Sean, Yala. I mean, everyone on this team, it's crazy. Musa brings defense that Hendel also brings, along with uh Sean Yard and Tack, who averaged like 3 steals a game. So this as a team, this team's average is like 12 steals a game. Like it's crazy. So I'm sticking with Hendel because it's got my A1 boys. I can't go against them. If Noah had picked at least one A1 guy, then it would be 50-50 for me. But I gotta stick with my boys. Let's go into who we think's gonna win the All-Star MVP. So Davis, you're gonna pick somebody from Team Noah, and then DJ picks somebody from Hendel. So Davis, who you got winning All-Star MVP from Team Noah?
All right. Actually, I think I have a bold take. Honestly, I think Jared Hansen could snag it because he might get like a ton of threes. That's my reasoning why. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with Jared Hansen.
yeah, we've seen like sneaky guys almost get the All-Star MVP in the NBA. You know, what was it like 3 or 4 years ago? I think um who was it? Who's the center from Timberwolves that everyone
Oh,
hates?
like talking about Carlton Towns or
No. Now.
oh now, what Gobert?
Gobert, yeah, he almost won it a few years ago.
Did
I
he?
couldn't remember his name. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he actually did. He had like 14 points in 1 quarter. It was crazy. If anybody remembers that, he almost like won it. I think he lost. They might have lost the game, so I don't know if he was able to win it. But he was actually scarily close to it, and I think everyone would have gone crazy if Gobert won it. So, but I think a guy that could just rack up points. Amandi Weaver, he could honestly win the All-Star MVP if Team Noah takes it, which I picked against. So I obviously don't think is going to happen. But Ethan has won it in the past. Isaac, Denzel, they could both rack it up. So even Marquise led the way for the squad, so he could do it too. DJ, who you got winning MVP from Hendel?
I'm gonna go with Darwin. You know, he's a real complete guy offensively. So I think that if he gets in a groove and they're all feeling it, I think he could sneak up there and just snag it right away from everyone else.
Yeah, like Davis said, the 3-point shooting could just, you know, pad his points, even if, other guys are having these flashy dunks. Darwin puts up 6 threes. It's bigger than everything else. So yeah, definitely a good pick there. Hmm. Tak's got to share some MVPs with the rest of us, so I don't think he's gonna win it. Dante took finals and All-Star MVP last season, so he's not here to hog up all the trophies. So I don't think Tak's gonna hog it. Um, I don't know. I think Yala could be a sneaky pick. He could just dunk it over and over. But I think overall, who's going to hustle the most is more important, and that's why I think Hendel is going to win it. I just think he's going to want to be running out. He wants to win it. His name's on the team. He wants to go out there and make sure he wins the game. Whether or not he's thinking about winning the MVP when he's out there is a whole nother thing. I don't think he will be thinking that. So it will just come as an addition to winning the game. And I think Hendel's just gonna be sprinting like he did in our games and just be open for those wide open dunks that the defense will kind of lack on. I think Hendel's going to play the defense he usually plays. I hope we see defense. If everyone's listening, play some defense. We want to see a close, fun, competitive All-Star game. So yeah, that wraps it up, boys. We're done for the season. So yeah, 2025 summer season's over. Hopefully we see everyone next season. Shout out all my boys who've been on the podcast: Jake, Noah, Joe, Jack, everyone. And then, of course, DJ, Davis, you boys are right here joining me on this last one. Thank you guys for this journey. It's been awesome. Of course, the 110 Grill. Can't forget them. Shout out 110 Grill one last time. And just thank you everyone for watching. Thank you guys for giving us crap throughout the season. We love it. B2A, we love. I know DJ loves you and you guys love him in a love-hate kind of relationship. But yeah, we appreciate all the respect and all the honesty from you guys. And thank you everyone listening. It's been a great season. I'm your host, Cade. Peace.